Oh, isn't that lovely?
Okay, world, it's 1 o'clock, it's the 15th of October-ish. I'm not sure if it's the 14th, 15th or 16th, but anyway, now we're going to do something that's a bit difficult and a bit controversial, so just a little sort of pre-ritual, first of all.
Yeah, it's important to do this. We're going to be talking about love and darkness and evil, so we're going to put some spiritual protection around our room, around Steve and myself, and also around you that are watching, because when you talk about darkness, you need to just respect that evil does exist, and we're not going to bring any of that in here. We're just going to envelop a beautiful silver shield around all of us that are watching, and Steve and me, and you can see that is, where is it, Steve? There we go, spiritual protection, Archangel Metatron, and it's now safe to speak. Okay,
and at this moment in time, the Moon and Pluto are together in Capricorn. Pluto and Capricorn, 12 years, it's about transforming and breaking through old structures and boundaries around government, both in our personal lives and collectively. And with the Moon and Pluto together at the moment, the psychological depth, the insight to be able to go into the dark and bring things back out into the light is stronger now than at any other time of the month. So it's very appropriate we do this.
Yeah, it's really appropriate, isn't it?
So,
where do we start then, Steve? Do you want to start with the Piers Morgan? Yeah.
Yes, this morning in Britain, that well-known bastion of femininity, Piers Morgan, mocked Daniel Craig 007 for carrying his new baby in a papoose, and Piers Morgan said, 0007, not you as well, hashtag papoose, hashtag emasculated Bond. Now obviously this released a Twitter storm because Piers Morgan, as we all know, is a really strong feminist, not. And what I really like is the comment from Chris Evans, not the UK DJ, but Chris Evans, Captain America.
I don't know who he is.
He's Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Chris Evans, quote, "You really have to be so uncertain of your own masculinity to concern yourself with how another man carries his child. Any man who wastes time quantifying masculinity is terrified on the inside." I just thought, brilliant.
You came in with that one today, didn't you?
Came in with that one, it's just brilliant.
I have to say, maybe this is good to say, because we're going to be talking about darkness and light and how actually we all have it within ourselves. Because I quite like Piers Morgan. I don't like that comment, but I quite like Piers.
Oh, he's controversial.
He's a figure of, a lot of people hate him, don't they?
It makes you laugh.
He's sharp. He's sharp. He wasn't sharp with that though.
No, he shot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
Now, my thing about this is that I get really hacked off, as a number of you know, I get really hacked off with these so-called light workers. People are all love and light, and you've got to be good, and don't go near the dark because it's really bad for you, and it's like, I just want a custard pie and give them a good psychic slap, because you cannot work with the light if you can't work with the dark. No, if you can't go into the dark, don't mess with the light, because they're equal and opposite sides of the same coin. Dark is not negative. Negative can sometimes be dark, but dark isn't negative, it's just dark. So you go into the dark and you bring light into the dark, and then you come back and you bring dark into the light, and it's yin yang, light into the dark, equal and opposite. So if you can't work with one, don't work with the other.
And from a colour perspective, Steve, it's beautifully expressed, because white reflects all of the colours of the rainbow out. Black has absorbed them all in. So they're complete mirror opposites of each other.
And isn't that the same when it's dark at night? It's black up there, apart from little moments of light. And occasionally the moon. Wonderful.
And birth, the void from which we all come. Darkness, the womb is dark itself. And then you come out and the baby, it's blinking. It's like, it's so bright. You get slapped on the bottom and you have to cry. But it's extreme, isn't it? It's the light and the dark. So that's what we want to talk about, really, isn't it, in this video? Or at least start the conversation, because it's a huge subject.
It is a huge subject. But the thing is, it's very easy to talk about it in these terms. But when you actually get down to the extremes of it, then it gets to the stuff that people don't want to talk about or even acknowledge. And again, the spectrum is vast, because everybody wants to talk about love. But how many want to talk about evil? Now, evil as a force, I hate to admit it, I don't want to admit it, but evil exists. And I'm not talking about evil as in the acts of one person. I'm talking about evil as a separate force that inhabits an energy field that can sometimes invade people and consume them, and they end up doing evil things. And obviously the opposite is true. People can be consumed by love and do wonderful things. But to deny one in the favour of the other is imbalance.
And I think this is so important to bring up this subject now within the spiritual community, because I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people just want to chase the light. And I completely agree with everything that you've just said. And you know I had this experience this year where, you know what, I think I was saying, how many videos have we made now? I think it was video 1, I was talking about, video 2, I mentioned I knew that Metatron was real, this force of love on my attunement day. And ever since then, it's all been, beautiful. But my experience this year with the Madeleine McCann video that eventually I had to take down, that was my moment where it was like, oh God, okay, evil is real. Because I felt it. And that's why the video was taken down, because it could become a portal of darkness,
We have both been so badly trolled. I've had so many death threats and threats of torture and abuse. There's various peoples in certain states of Texas who have made it very clear that if I have certain states in America, including Texas, if I ever go there, I'm going to have some really nasty things done to me, or at least that's the threat. And to me, that's really not nice.
No.
But it goes deeper than that. If you look at the semantics of it, the word evil comprises EVIL, but it's also the same letters that make the word live, and veil. I was out at dinner with Amanda last night, and something came up, and it was like, the letters LVE are in both evil and love. But in evil, you've got the letter I, the direct upstanding I. And in love, you've got, instead of the upstanding direct I, you've got the round O. Now, obviously, there's masculine and feminine analogies here. That is not to say that all men are misogynists or that all women are misandrists. It is to say that there is a kind of gender imbalance amongst the love and light brigade. And it's lovely that so many men are getting in touch with their feminine side, as I said at the start of this with the Piers Morgan, James Bond thing. But you've got to be comfortable with your masculinity as well, both men and women.
I think also we were referring, really, weren't we, to the erect I, as it were, is to do with the patriarchal male energy. It's the old male energy that is on the way out. I mean, it's taking a while to go, but it is on the way out. And what we're wanting to welcome in is a beautiful, softer male energy. It's the divine masculine energy, basically. So, yeah. I mean, do you want to say a little bit about what you felt about that surge of love as well last night? I'm just going to spray you with a bit of pink. I'm going to spray him with a bit of pink now. Pink? Just to recreate it, Steve. Mind you, I didn't have this last night, did we?
I pride myself on my insensitivity, right? I'm as subtle as a brick, as most of you know. But last night I was talking with Amanda, and I was just saying, well, at the end of the day, there's one higher generating force behind every goodwill action, and that is the force of love. It's better than authenticity, dignity, integrity, all added together, and that is love. And as I said it, I felt it, and I felt the water go behind my eyes. Now, I'm not a dewy-eyed romantic. Like I said, I'm subtle as a brick, but for me to feel that, yeah, it's real. I could be making it up, of course, but I know I wasn't.
No, it was there, it was present. And it's here right now, actually. I can feel it right now. So if you just want to pause for one moment and just sink into that energy of love, which comes in on the colour ray, which is pink.
I can smell that.
The thing about this, Steve, in all seriousness, is that it is the most powerful force in the universe. I still maintain that. Whatever darkness exists, whatever evil exists, and yes, it's real, we know it's real, this force that is here right now, this energy of pure love, it's a divine love, it's unconditional love, is the strongest force in the universe. And I think we haven't really acknowledged that. It's almost like love is all candy floss and, no, love is so strong. Isn't it?
As Amanda was saying, sometimes love doesn't need to be glossy. Sometimes, as she was talking about
it's
this
raw,
guy behind me, it can be tough love.
Raw, tough, strong. Yeah.
But it's for the best possible reason and the best possible purpose. And if we try and bring this down more into the here and now, the day by day, it seems to me that there is a catchphrase that's been around for centuries that says religion is the root of all evil. If religions were to bring women at an equal level into their theologies and their practice, and have exactly the same number of women priests as men, one or two religions are starting to do this, then what a difference the world would be.
Actually, the country we're in, Steve, UK, Church of England, there are female priests now.
Lots of them.
Lots of them that are coming in, and they really had to challenge the status quo to be accepted, and they are. They are accepted now.
But in the.
But that's only traditional religion. I'm
talking in Catholicism, Islam, Hinduism, Shintoism. There's no women priests.
Okay, what I'm being told very loudly in my ear by the angels here is that there are some religions, and I do feel I'm wanting to say the Catholic Church, where it's just not going to happen. The rise of the divine feminine. And we were talking about this earlier, and we're not trying to offend anybody that's watching, because we have lots of followers who've got all sorts of different belief systems. But, you know, we're talking about darkness. There is darkness within the Catholic Church, and it is going to be exposed at some point. And it's going to be it's already out there, but it's like it's not on the front page news, but it will be at some point.
It's going to get worse and worse.
Because the male patriarchal energy that has held so strongly there is not going to give way. It's not going to give way.
No, it's not.
And so it has to crack open. It has to crack open, and it will do. But it's going to be very difficult for people to come to terms with that, even if you're not a Catholic, even if you're not a Christian, because it's one of the bedrocks upon which society has been based, whether you like it or not. Certainly Western society. So again, when that crumbles, when the tower falls, there's going to be a need for a lot of love, a lot of compassion, a lot of tolerance, a lot of forgiveness, and I hope that we can do that.
I hope so that men and women can do this collectively, yes. But as some people who watch my videos know, I go on a lot about old men in skirts who run religions. And in certain Middle Eastern religions, regardless of which side of the spectrum, the idea of men actually reaching out and hugging women purely out of love doesn't happen. I mean, they have to have sex for a sheep where both people sort of can't see the other. In the Catholic Church, for example, the kiddie fiddling that's been going on is absolutely disgusting. We talk about evil. The abuse of innocent children for personal gratification is evil personified.
Yeah.
And this is wrong. And in the name of a benign God, I think not. So the world is changing, and we need this change to come in, but we need to not deny that this is going on. Because how can you love if you can't deal with the other side? It comes back to the origin of this conversation.
Can I also bring in here what I was saying, Steve, which is that I feel very strongly that also we do need to trust the higher divine plan in all of this, in terms of when things are meant to be exposed and how. And a very strong message from Metatron in particular has always been the days of self-sacrifice are over. You know, you don't have to put yourself in the firing line to achieve the end goal that we all basically want. We want a world that is cleaned up, you know, a purer, more loving energy to come in. But we have in our back catalogue many lives where we have self-sacrificed for causes. You know, we've been on the Crusades or whatever else we've done. And we don't have to do that anymore. So it's the thing about holding the energy of peace and love and remembering that they are actually the most powerful energies in the whole universe. And if you can hold them, the divine, whatever shape the divine is in for you, will come in and support the change that needs to happen at the right moment in the right way, without individuals having to lay down their life, you know?
Okay, again, this is semantics.
Yeah.
But isn't this the difference between having good intentions and holding the intent?
Yes.
Because we hold the intent of being the best we possibly can at any given moment.
Yes.
We're not being asked to be successful, we're being asked to do our best.
Yeah.
And it's all, intentions are easy, but having the intent and living it and being it constantly is the biggest challenge of all. And we will always fail at it, but we're always getting better at the same time, and we're always improving.
Absolutely.
And that is salvation for the world, I believe.
Do you know a word that's in my head right now, which is one of the challenges and the blocks, is ego. It's ego, because I think a lot of the people who have the right intentions, who are wanting to bring change, get somehow caught up in ego, that I have to be the one. I have to be the one who brings the light in, the sword, you know? And it's all down to me. And it doesn't have to be. Yes, you need people to speak up, but not from an egotistical place. And what's the opposite of ego? Love. Just holding that love.
Yeah.
Not having to do a crusade. Not having to lay down your life. Just holding that energy. And it sounds too simple. That's the point. That's why people...
It sounds easy.
It sounds too easy. It can't just be that. It can be that.
It is that simple. It is.
Most of the truths are simple, aren't they, to be perfectly honest?
Works,
yeah.
And before anyone starts jumping to conclusions out there, myself and Amanda live in very different parts of the country. We both have our own separate support groups around us of people who support us in what we do. And for us to come together like this is so far it's a one-off situation. Who knows what the future holds with working with this type of energy. But it seems like this is the right time for us to be working together, to be talking about stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, there's some type of synergy going on here. And it seems now that we haven't been brought together for a purpose, but by choosing to come together at this time, we can actually...
Well, I think we've noticed, or maybe some of our followers have noticed, that I might say something one week.
Yeah.
And it's coming from a place of intuition, the angels, whatever you want to call it. And then Steve's talking about exactly the same thing, but from an astrological perspective.
Yeah.
And it's like, I haven't watched his video, you haven't necessarily watched my video. So it's this stream of consciousness. It's just different, it's different languages, but basically we're all saying the same thing. And I think the merging of modalities, or it's not merging of modalities.
I like that.
Okay, we like that. But what I was going to say is what we can learn from each other, actually. It's what we can learn from each other, rather than it being very regimented, you know, and just putting it into boxes. Again, it's breaking out of the box, you know. So it's what we were talking about last night. Also, maybe I'm moving off to a different subject, but what we can learn from each other in terms of portals, and that's something for another day, actually. Do you remember we were saying about the moon and all that? Yeah. But we'll do that another time, because...
Well, there is this thing around fear.
Yeah.
Now, to me, fear is just an acronym. False energy aggravating resistance, for example.
Yeah.
Or resentment.
Yeah.
Fear, when you say to people, well, what are you actually scared of? And it's like, well, I'm not sure, I'm just scared. Or I'm scared of failure, or scared of not being good enough, or scared...
I'm hearing fear is love unexpressed.
Fear of being loved.
Yeah, because...
Or being able to love.
Not even just in a romantic way. I'm talking about everything is love, isn't it? You know, I can love this beautiful glass of water. I can love the trees that I'm looking at. You know, it's all... The universe basically works on the energy of love. That's the energy behind it. So...
In my life, I've actually encountered evil once or twice in my life head on. And in my dreams, in the nightmares I used to have, I used to encounter it a lot more. And I've had to, in the last few years, actually have the balls to actually face it head on and face it down and just go, whatever. I love myself. I love you. I'm invulnerable.
Yeah.
And to feel, and when you do that, and to actually feel the fear and the evil just either part and let you through, or even better, dissolve in front of you.
I completely agree. Completely agree. You have to face it. You have to face it.
You cannot run away. You can't run.
No. But it is about, again, it comes back to this thing. It's just about holding that vibration of truth and of love within you, and what is the most powerful energy, and it's that.
Thing is, so many people say all this, but to actually, they don't practice it.
They don't practice
and
it.
to actually bring it into the world, and to actually do what we do with our readings and with our working with other people, to actually bring it into the real world.
Yeah. I mean, I'll bring in a controversial figure now, David Icke. Okay, but you know, but the thing is, right. David's okay, but he, you know, he has a lot of flack. And he's fighting a lot of evil out there at the end of the day. But the point is, he's attracted a lot. But his take on it is fascinating. And I don't know if you've seen the video. There's a little video that's doing the rounds. This is years old, and he's basically saying, "I know that they could take me down tomorrow if they wanted to, but I will not allow that energy into my field. And if I don't allow it into my field, it doesn't exist." He's basically done what you've just said. He's pushed it away. The more that you focus on it, the more that you bring fear into it, The more that you get attracted like a moth to the flame to the darkness and start to burrow down, that's dodgy. That's really dodgy. The more that you just take a step back and say, I know you're there, I know you're there, and I know you're real. But actually, this is also real that is within me. And this is stronger. And this is the energy of love. And it sounds very fluffy, but I'm sorry, it's the truth.
Once in my life, I've had to stand up to something really, really very nasty indeed and say, right, I could very easily die right now.
Yeah.
If I don't walk away. And I thought, well, if I walk away, I'll never be able to live with myself.
Yeah.
No, I've got to deal with this.
Yeah.
And I pushed myself through it.
Yeah.
And once in my life, I faced something so scary, I've actually physically, I'm going to be blunt now, excuse me, crapped myself. Right?
That's too much detail, Steve.
Right. But through fear.
Try and delete that.
But
No.
having done it once, I was able to then do it a number of times again without any fear whatsoever.
Yeah.
You've got to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Well, I gave you the example with the Madeline video that I did, you know, and the day that I went on holiday to Praia de Luz, I had an abusive email the evening before saying somebody was waiting for me. They knew I was going with my children and they would be waiting. And that was my moment. That was my test. And I thought, I am not sinking to that level of darkness. I choose to believe that I am safe. I am protected. No harm will befall me or my children or any of my family because I believe in this.
Yeah.
And because I held that and I held it 100%, of course I was fine. But it was a test. I easily could have thought, actually, I think I'll just stay in bed today and miss the plane. And there was a part of me that wanted to do that.
Of course.
And then, of course, what that would have done was it would have attracted even more of it.
Of course.
Because I would have sunk down.
So
none of this is easy, is it, Steve, to be honest? Because to be honest, it was one of the most horrible experiences and tests I've had so far on my spiritual path. But I learnt from it and I got stronger from it.
But we said at the start of this that you've got light and dark, equal and opposite sides of the same coin. When you go to the extremes, the ultimate extremes, and you've got evil and love at its highest order, right? But isn't it, as we get to the end of this video, isn't it even there appropriate to say that even then, evil and love are just opposite sides of the same spectrum? And if you think, well, what's in the middle? Where is the midpoint? Is there some higher single unifying force that is not a dichotomy or parallel or diversified? Is there a one? Is there a unity? Oh God, I'm almost saying, is there a God? And I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. But is there some... I guess if I were to be forced into finding a term to describe what I'm trying to get at, I would call it the universe.
Yeah.
Because the universe provides.
Yeah.
That's a tenet that I've always adhered to. And there's always a reason.
But as you know, the universe is both dark and light. We're back to... You must just quickly say at the end of this video what you were saying yesterday about how far out we are in the solar system, because I think people will be really interested just
this
to rehear
dichotomy
that.
of free will. There is a philosophy that says that humans are one of the only species in the entire planet, entire universe, who has this idea of free will. Everyone else is in tune with creator energy, with the universe. But humanity is a kind of experiment to test this thing around free will with a view of becoming God, of achieving godhood.
And to have free will, we have to have both. We have to have both energies.
So as a result, humans have been placed on a planet in a solar system that's at the extreme end of an arm of a two-armed galaxy, way out from the centre of the universe, way out from galactic centre. You look into the Milky Way, you see the centre of the galaxy. You look at the other side, you see darkness. We're at the very end. We're as far away
from where it's really at,
from the centre of the galaxy and the centre of the universe as you can possibly imagine.
So we can do the least amount of damage.
But also perhaps evolve in a way that's uninfluenced by external phenomena.
Oh, that's a nice way to view it, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Which leads us nicely on to the next video, which will be about hope for the future.
Hope for the future, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Steve.
Catch you later, world.
Bye for now. Bye.